Hello and welcome to the training for the 2022 Annual Catholic Appeal. We're going to just jump right in and we'll go over quickly kind of the few things that we're going to go over in today's training, and then we'll just jump right into dig a little bit more in depth as far as what to expect for the 2022 appeal, what's going to happen in your parishes, what needs to be prepared, and we'll go from there. Just a quick start to this, we're going to go over 2021. We'll go over kind of what happened with that, where we've ended up so far, and kind of results from that. Then we're going to go over the goal and case for support, as well as the theme for the 2022 Annual Catholic Appeal, what you're going to kind of expect for that. We'll briefly go over our training manual, where everything is located and where you can find things for additional information. We'll go over important dates and preparations that need to be made for the 3 important weekends that take place in the parishes. We'll go over what you need to do for shipping once you've kind of performed everything and taking care of things that need to be done in the parish. And then just quickly go over resources that are available to you, where they're located on our website, and how best to kind of utilize those. So I'm just going to jump right in quick with last year's appeal, where we kind of ended up with everything, and go from there. So the 2021 Annual Catholic Appeal, as a reminder, our goal for that was 3.8 million. Pledged to date right now, we have 4.3 million, which is great, and paid to date 4.23 million. So currently, about 430,000 is going to be going back to parishes. That went to all parishes kind of across the diocese. And what Bishop has decided for this year is that all money is going to be used on a vicariate level for the Go Make Disciples or evangelization initiatives. So you'll be getting more information on that once checks go out for that, and all of the checks for that, the rebate checks, will be going out, like I said, on a vicariate level. So those will be taken care of by your Vicar's Brain. So for the 2022 Annual Catholic Appeal, we'll just quickly introduce our theme, which is "We shall open the way for the gospel." A quote from Samuel Mazzucchelli, who, for the 2022 Annual Catholic Appeal, we're kind of trying to tie in the 75th anniversary of the Diocese of Madison. And since he was such an integral part in the creation of our diocese and helping it become what it is today, that's kind of where this theme came from and where some of the images for that came from. So "We shall open the way for the gospel" is the theme, and this is just kind of the artwork for what the 2022 appeal is going to be based off of this year. I just quickly want to go over our case for support. Basically the same as what it was last year. We did just go ahead and break these down into smaller categories this year, so there's not it doesn't look like as much as it has been in the past, but most of the same things are included in the case statement. They are just broken down into different categories. So under Know Him, the evangelization, the Go Make Disciples initiative, and then education and religious formation, so including things like schools, religious education, different things like that. Under the Love Him category, we've got Camp Gray, different family ministries, and our parish ministries. And under Serve Him, we've got Catholic Charities, the Catholic Multicultural Center, and diocesan cemeteries. So that is just a breakdown of kind of some of the things that are in our case for support. And I do want to point out as well that our goal will remain the same this year at the 3.8 million. We did not increase it for this year, so that will remain the same as it was for the 2021 appeal. I do just want to go over, we're going to be talking a little bit about parish goals. So I want to go over just kind of how those are calculated for each parish. Each parish should have received already, their pastor should have received a letter with their specific parish goal for the 2022 appeal. And how we come up with that is we look at the overall diocesan offertory for the previous fiscal year. So for example, if the total offertory was 37 million and the parish offertory was 500,000, we're going to take that parish offertory, divide that by the diocesan offertory, and that's going to give us a percentage. And we'll take that percentage and multiply it by the appeal goal, which will give the overall parish goal. We do not mandate our goals. These are kind of suggestions for what we would like each parish to strive for so that the diocese can reach its overall goal. With each parish that does hit its goal or go over goal, it obviously gives us a better increase for the diocesan amount of money that comes in. So like I said, these are not mandatory, but we do ask that each parish promote the appeal in a positive light and let people know about their goals, the parish goals, so that people are aware and that they can kind of give accordingly. I do just want to go over a couple of keys to success as far as what different parishes, over the past 12, 13 years have done that has worked and that has made their parish successful. So a couple things I want to point out is just following the blackout dates and guidelines. Each year we set about a 6-week period for times when parishes should not be doing any sort of fundraising on their own. And we ask that parishes follow those kind of 6 weeks and not do any sort of, fundraising dinners or any capital campaign asks or anything like that. Each pastor did get kind of an outline of what exactly is included in that blackout and what they shouldn't be doing. So they should be aware of those guidelines. If not, I can always send each parish outline of that as well, if somebody wants to look into that a little bit more. We do ask that you conduct the appeal on the specific weekends to maximize, kind of the publicity that the diocese is putting forth on this. So there are going to be 3 specific weekends that happen in your parish: announcement weekend, commitment weekend, and follow-up weekend. Each of those have specific dates, and we ask that you follow those dates so that everyone kind of throughout the diocese is on the same page with those. If for some reason there's something that is going on in your parish, or the pastor's not going to be there, or something, is going on, you do need to get permission from Monsignor Bartilla to not do them on that specific date. So if that is something you're concerned of or something's coming up, please make sure you get that exemption from Monsignor Bartilla before we, kind of move forward with anything. We do ask that you follow the process. We do have a couple things put into place as far as, doing what you need to do on those 3 weekends in your parish and kind of utilizing the process that we'll put in front of you to make this all work. There's certain reasons that we ask you to do certain things. So we do just ask that you kind of follow the process that we're going to go over here in a little bit. We ask that there is consistent communication and promotion. We ask that, pastors and parish staff and people that we have speaking about the appeal promote this in a positive light. If someone's doom and gloom about this, then especially if the pastor's talking about it not in a positive light, parishioners are not going to get excited about it. So we do ask that there is promotion and positive light about this, and pastors are on board. I'm going to just jump down to tying the ACA to local parish and to your local parish and community. There's a lot of different ways that the ACA benefits kind of the entire diocese. So we do have, and I will show you this towards the end of the training here, we do have a couple ways that we can kind of connect your parish and your community to the things that the appeal supports. So I ask you to just kind of take a look at those and see how it pertains to your parish so that people can see that there are connections here and that this does benefit them. Little things like marriage prep classes, people who are engaged and about to get married in a parish, everybody has to go through that. So something like that is going to benefit your parish. Rural food pantries through Catholic charities, things like that. There's something that does benefit every parish and kind of every parishioner across the diocese here. So really being able to tie that and make that connection to your parishioners is going to make it so people can see how the appeal benefits them. And we do ask that parishes encourage the fulfillment of pledges. So we ask that people make monthly pledges if they are able to and don't want to do a one-time pledge, at which point we send out monthly reminders and ask that people obviously fulfill those on a monthly basis. So we do ask that you put reminders every once in a while into your bulletins or make altar announcements about those, just so people kind of have that in the back of their mind and they're reminded of it throughout the year. And finally, weekly emails. I will start sending out, especially ramping up here, we'll start getting into weekly emails that I send out as far as what needs to be prepared for the weekend, what parish staff can help with, what needs to take place in order to be ready for the specific weekends coming up in the parishes. These weekly emails will let you know when to expect things like different shipments for materials, like I said, what to do leading up to important weekends, the announcement weekend, the commitment weekend, and the follow-up weekend in your parish. So there's just some good information there and things that you can kind of check off and make sure that you have all your ducks in a row before big weekends happen in your parish. And I do, especially for new people, like to, kind of say this. Bishop always kind of harps on this here in our offices here, that the ACA is to the diocese what the Sunday offertory is to your parish. So I think that's just something to take a step back and think about. Everybody in the parish is used to the offertory and kind of paying that, but the diocese runs on the appeal money that comes in as well. So it's just something to kind of put into perspective for people so they understand, what this whole thing kind of is. So I just wanted to point that out as well. Let's get into then a couple key dates for this year. The week of December 24th is when materials are going to ship. For anybody who has done this in the past, you used to get 2 different shipments, one with the FedEx shipping materials and one with just the materials that is needed to run everything in your parish. This year, you're only going to be getting 1 shipment. Everything will be together in 1 box. We made some changes as far as how we kind of are doing that this year. So you will just expect 1 box. We'll go over everything that's going to be in those, but those will be arriving in your parish the week of January 24th. This will be based off of the orders that were placed back in November for ACA materials. The week of January 31st is not 2021, 2022. The solicitation letter is going to be sent from Bishop. So this is going to go out to all parishioners across the diocese, asking for their support for the ACA. It's going to just have a little brochure in there as far as, what the appeal supports, asking for people to participate in it. That will go out the week of January 31st. February 12th and 13th, or February 19th and 20th is going to be announcement weekend. Some parishes have some conflicts, so we always give 2 weekends that parishes can kind of plan for the announcement weekend. You need to pick one of these weekends. It doesn't need to be both weekends, but this is just when we'll go over what each of these mean, but when people are kind of getting introduced to the appeal for the year. So picking one of those weekends, like I said, not both. February 26th, 27th is going to be commitment weekend when we run through the in-pew process and people are able to make their pledge. And then March 5th and 6th is follow-up weekend. We'll go in detail as far as what all of these weekends mean in just a couple minutes here, but I just want everybody to make sure that these dates are on their calendar. So you are prepared for, what needs to be done specifically in the parish those weekends. Blackout dates. I mentioned this a little bit before. January 29th through March 6th is the blackout period. And this is reserved specifically for the diocese to conduct the appeal. These are just a few of the things that are not allowed during this time. Like I said, we just asked for that time frame in there when parishes kind of halt all of their campaign and different fundraising so that the diocese is able to concentrate on the appeal for this. If you have any questions about this or have things that are going on, please let us know or reach out to me. I'll give all my contact information at the end so people have that, but we just ask that there's no annual fund campaigns, no dinners or events, no capital campaign solicitations, just no fundraising in general during that January 29th through March 6th. Our parish preparation manual. This is located right on our website, madisondiocese.org/appeal materials. I'm going to show you towards the end here, just where everything is located so we can kind of go through that all at one time. But specifically, if you are new to conducting the appeal or have, kind of specific questions, there's a ton of information in this parish prep manual. It's going to go over in depth each weekend, what needs to be prepared for it, what needs to happen during the weekend, who needs to be doing what the job of the pastor is, what support he's going to need specifically during the appeal. So this is really going to get into the nitty-gritty of everything. I'm going to give kind of an overview and go through quite a bit of what needs to happen. But like I said, if this is your first time doing this, you may just want to take a glance at this. Or if kind of questions come up along the way, this is always going to be on the website to have. Of course, you can always, shoot me an email or give me a call as well. if something specific comes up, but this is going to be a good resource for you to have. We will go through where exactly this is located towards the end of the training today. So now I just want to jump into what is going to happen during those 3 important weekends that we talked about in the parish: announcement weekend, commitment weekend, and follow-up weekend. First, I want to go over what kind of needs to happen as far as the preparation for on the week leading up to the weekend masses, and then we'll go over what specifically should be happening at Mass during those weekends as well. So announcement weekend, remember I said that your parish can pick which announcement weekend is going to work best for you. So I'm going to give you 2 sets of dates here for the preparation for that. So either the week of February 7th through 11th or the 14th through the 18th is going to be when you will need to prepare these things. So the pastor on the upcoming weekend is going to give his homily specifically on the ACA. So just making sure that, number one, he's aware of that and that he's thinking about that. And that he's kind of preparing something for the appeal, whether he wants to talk specifically about kind of how it helps the parish or how it helps the diocese as a whole, and kind of show his support for the appeal and the benefits of it. We do ask that for that weekend that the cover artwork on your bulletin is highlighting the appeal. I will show you where that cover artwork is located as well. It's going to be, we've got just one big page of everything ACA related. So I'll show you where that is at the end and where you can get that image from. We do ask that tabloids are put in the bulletins for that weekend so that people have something to take home with them while they're kind of contemplating what they're able to give and preparing themselves for commitment weekend. So tabloids will need to be in the bulletin or available in a prominent location. Posters need to be displayed, ideally before this weekend, but if not by then. Bulletin and altar announcements, which I will be sending out each week. These will be located on the website as well. We ask that you just pop those in the bulletin and then promote it through an altar announcement, as well as the prayer of the faithful for the week as well. Again, just kind of trying to get people used to hearing about this and making sure that people are aware of what's going to be happening the next weekend with commitment weekend. So in the parish, either on February 12th and 13th or the 19th and 20th, as I said, the homily is going to be solely focused on the ACA. If for some reason, well, not for some reason, but if this is the pastor's first time kind of talking about the appeal, or he doesn't, kind of have something in place, there are some ideas in the parish preparation manual for, what he can kind of highlight or talk about during his homily. I think the biggest thing is just to kind of show his support and talk about this in a positive light for the appeal, to kind of get people ready. Again, make sure the prayers of the faithful and the bulletin and altar announcements are ready to go. Make sure the tabloids are in the bulletin so that people are able to just grab those as they are walking out. And just overall having the main focus for this weekend being to provide the information and preparing people to be ready with their commitment for the following week. This gives them kind of a week to think about it, pray about what they'll be able to give during commitment weekend, and just kind of focus on that. So that is going to be announcement weekend. We'll jump then to the preparations needed for commitment weekend. No matter when you do announcement weekend in your parish, everyone across the diocese will need to do commitment weekend on February 26th through the 27th. So these are going to be the preparations leading up to that, week of the 21st through the 25th. First thing we kind of need to think about in this COVID world that we are living in, figure out the best way to get people envelopes in your parish. I think people right now are a little bit more lenient with people taking envelopes or passing them out to people, but whatever your parish feels comfortable with, whether you want parishioners to grab them as they're walking into Mass that day, or if you want ushers or students or volunteers to pass those out. Just whatever kind of works best, figure out how you're going to get everyone the envelopes for the commitment process. Make sure that you have pencils or some sort of writing utensil, either inserted into those envelopes or available for people to grab so that they have something to write with. Make sure that ushers or students or volunteers or whoever is going to be helping that day, either pass out or collect materials, know what they need to do, and know what their role is going to be. If you have any specific questions on that, there is kind of a whole page on what to think about and what to specifically train ushers or volunteers on in that parish prep manual again. And then we do ask that you, prior to Mass on Commitment Weekend, play the video just to make sure it works. Have all of your equipment ready to go. We do and will have a link to this as well. So if you don't have a DVD player or just want to link it up through online, we'll be able to do that as well. If you do plan to use the video though, please make sure that it works and that it's ready to go with all the equipment that you have. And then just make sure that the pastor is ready with the in-pew script. We have a couple different mechanisms for the in-pew script. If this is a pastor's first job or first time kind of running through the appeal, we have kind of a word by word in-pew script that they can read verbatim if they'd like to just get them through the process. Otherwise, we've got another page of just some talking points so that pastors can just make sure that, if they're comfortable with this whole process of everything, they can just make sure they hit these couple talking points and get their parishioners through everything. These are all going to be on the website as well, and I'll send these out in weekly emails as we get closer to these dates. So just making sure that the pastor is aware of this and have that ready and available for him for masses on the weekend of February 26th. February 26th and 27th. A couple more things to think about for Commitment Weekend. If you are doing any sort of online masses still, I know with the variants and everything going on right now, some parishes are still doing online masses and streaming their masses. So just make sure that you have some sort of mechanism to play the appeal video for online viewers, whether it is just streaming and specifically showing what parishioners are seeing in the mass, whichever way you want to do that, just making sure that the people online are able to see the video as well. With less people in mass because of what's going on with COVID, if people would consider linking the appeal donation page to any communications or social media that they're sending out. I'll provide links and everything for that, but just consider putting that, in any sort of communications. And also we do have the video, the ACA video that's available online and via Flocknote. So if you want to consider sending that to any and all parishioners that aren't able to make it to Mass or in any sort of communications as well, just so people are able to see the video as well. So just a couple things to think about as this looks a little bit different than it has in the past. Again, as anybody who was kind of around last year, we did send out our Catholic Herald edition to everyone across the diocese on February 24th. Everyone is going to get a copy of that issue. This will go out to the 70,000 plus people that we have in our database. So this is kind of going to highlight different impact stories, different things that the appeal supports, just so people get a better taste of what exactly the appeal supports and where the money goes to as they're making the donations. These, the specific issue is going to have an appeal envelope in it, just like our in-pew envelope that you'll have in your parishes. So I do just want to point out, if you get any of those in your parish, like I said, they'll look exactly almost identical to the ones that you have in your parish, except they'll have the diocese mailing address on those. But if you get any of those in your parish, please just make sure you throw them in with your in-pew envelopes as you're sending them back to us, or just mail them to the diocese specifically if you see them come in. So everybody will get this that weekend. Just in case you get any questions, it's sent from us. You can always point them our way if people have specific questions about the Herald arriving in their house that weekend. Finally, for Commitment Weekend specifically in the parish. So this is going to take place February 26th and 27th. A couple things that need to take place that specific weekend is making sure that anybody that's helping, so the ushers or the volunteers or whoever is going to be helping with passing out and collecting the envelopes, make sure that they know where they need to be, what they need to do, if they're just handing out envelopes as people walk in, or if they are handing them out right before we go through the pastor goes through the in-pew script, making sure they know what they need to do and what they need to do to collect the envelopes. So whether you have, a basket or something to drop them in at the end of Mass, or if someone's going to be grabbing them right after everyone's done, whatever works best for your parish, just make sure that some sort of protocol is in place for that. What's going to happen specifically that weekend at Mass is that the gospel, everything's going to go as normal. The pastor will read the gospel, and then the video will be played immediately after the gospel. So everything should be queued up and ready to go right after the gospel for that. After the video is played, the pastor is going to read through the in-pew script, or whatever rendition he has of that, so that people are able to fill out the commitment envelopes and make their pledge for that day. And again, just making sure that the ushers and volunteers know what they need to do to collect the envelopes that people are going to fill out, and know where to put them so that they're secure for whenever someone gets in to send them out after commitment weekend. So those are kind of the things that need to happen. The video needs to be played, the in-pew script needs to be read through, and then envelopes need to be passed out and collected for that day. Finally, as we get to follow-up weekend, preparation for that, the week of February 28th through March 1st. A couple of things that you need to evaluate as a parish for this is, kind of how successful do you feel commitment weekend was? Was there a snowstorm? Did you not have good attendance that weekend? Do you feel like you had good attendance that weekend? Kind of evaluate how commitment weekend went in your parish and base your decision off of that. You can either do a modified procedure or do the full in-pew process again. So making sure you kind of make that decision leading up to actual follow-up weekend in your parish. If you do the modified procedure, you're just going to make announcements letting people know that envelopes are available to make a pledge for the appeal, and let them know where they are. So whether they're at the entrance of the church or, in the gathering space, wherever you'd like to set them, just make sure you make an announcement before Mass and after Mass, letting people know that they have the opportunity to grab one of those and make a pledge, and let them know where they can put those envelopes so that you're able to ship them off. And if you do, kind of the full procedure, you'll go through the full in-pew script again. We'll go into this in just a little bit here. Please make sure on the week leading up to the follow-up weekend that you have enough envelopes, that you ordered enough envelopes, and that you have enough on stack for people who are going to be making, hopefully be making pledges during that weekend. So if you're running low, we have plenty extra in our offices. Just let me know and we can send some your way. Again, just make sure you've got pencils ready to go, or some sort of writing utensil ready to go for people to fill out the envelopes. If you are doing the full in-pew process, make sure someone reviews the script again. And if you're doing the modified process, just make sure that announcements are prepared and ready to go, and that envelopes are ready to go. So again, just for follow-up weekend, the weekend of March 5th and 6th, modified procedure, just make announcements. If you're doing the full in-pew process, you'll read through that script again, or those talking points, whatever your pastor did previously on commitment weekend. And I do want to point out for this weekend, it doesn't necessarily need to be the pastor reading through these again, or who's ever doing Mass reading through these. It can be somebody, from the pastoral council or the finance council, or someone specifically in your parish to promote this on their end. So it doesn't need to be the priest that day. Again, just making those announcements and reading the script, and then just making sure that envelopes are available in a prominent location. So this follow-up weekend will be a little bit more low key than commitment weekend, but we just want to make sure that we are grabbing anyone who wasn't able to make a pledge on commitment weekend for whatever reason. If they weren't able to make it to Mass that weekend, or we're out of town, whatever the case may be, we just want to grab those people who have not made a pledge yet. So those are kind of the 3 important weekends in the parish as far as what's going to happen then. So you'll run through all of these weekends and you'll collect these envelopes. So I do want to jump into shipping as far as when you need to ship, what needs to happen with that, and how you do that. So commitment weekend, we'll start with that. After Masses on commitment weekend, please make sure that your ushers or your volunteers know where to put any envelopes that they collect, and please make sure they're in a secure location. There is personal information on these, sometimes credit card information on these envelopes, so they do need to be secure somewhere. Please make sure that you're not opening any of these envelopes. Once you collect all these envelopes and have them kind of all together, we do ask that you count through, make sure that you bundle them in packs of 50 and include a transmittal form as you're getting ready to send these to us. And then what you'll do with these is you'll count up the number of envelopes that you have. You'll send it with a transmittal form, which is something that we'll talk about in just a minute here, and get those into a FedEx package that you will be sent as well. So after commitment weekend, we do ask that you do this if you have more than 50 envelopes. If you do not have 50 envelopes, we're going to ask you to just hold until the next follow-up weekend so you can send them all together. The only reason for this is FedEx packages are expensive to ship. So we do ask that, just for money saving purposes, that you hold everything if you have fewer than 50 envelopes. When to ship, we'll go over follow-up weekend here. Again, same thing as commitment weekend, make sure everything is secured. Rubber band these in packs of 50 with the transmittal form and pack them all into a FedEx pack that you're going to get in your shipping. After follow-up weekend, no matter how many envelopes you have, if you have less than 50, if you have more than 50, if you have 2, please make sure that you mail any of the remaining envelopes to us at that point. If you get any that from the Catholic Herald that have come into your parish, please make sure that those are included as well, so we can get those processed. At this point, after follow-up weekend, the sooner you send these into us is the sooner that we're going to be able to cash those checks and the sooner that donors are going to be acknowledged. You'd be amazed at how many calls we get, 2 or 3 days after commitment weekend that we haven't cashed a check yet from somebody, and they think that we don't need their money because we haven't cashed our check yet. So people are watching this and waiting for it to come out of their checking account. So the sooner that we can get this process rolling, the better it is for the donors to kind of get that acknowledgement letter and whatnot. So commitment weekend, if you have over 50, get them packed up with a transmittal form, send them in to us. Follow-up weekend, no matter how many you have, go ahead and get them sent in to us in the FedEx packages. Now what? So, after you've gotten all of these envelopes in, you've gotten them shipped out to us, I just want to kind of go over what we take care of on our end so you don't have to worry about those things. After you ship to the diocese, we are specifically going to be responsible for any donor follow-up questions. So if there's something that doesn't make sense, we'll take care of contacting donors and figuring all of that out. We will take care of acknowledging anyone that makes a gift to the appeal and taking care of tax statements if needed for those. And then we will be responsible for sending out monthly reminders as well. Some people choose to give a one-time gift. Some people choose to give monthly gifts. So we'll take care of sending out monthly reminders for those that choose to give that way. We do ask, kind of throughout the year that parishes promote the fulfillment of pledges for those people who decided to do a monthly gift via bulletin and altar announcements, just to kind of keep it in their head and make sure that people, remember that they do have this pledge out there and that they are thinking about being able to fulfill it along the way. I spoke about the transmittal form here, and I do just want to go over what I'm talking about for the transmittal form. When you guys get your materials, you will get a package with all of everything that you're going to need to conduct the appeal in your parish. So you're going to get the brochures, you're going to get the IMPU envelopes, you'll get the posters and the DVDs. And then you'll also get all of your shipping materials. So you will get a package with FedEx, they're called packs, so big FedEx envelopes. And these are going to all have the everything attached to them that you need with your parish filled out and everything. So you literally just need to put the envelopes, count them out and put them into the large FedEx envelopes with the transmittal form. This transmittal form right here is what you'll be getting. And all you're going to need to fill out on here is the number of envelopes that you need to ship or that you're shipping to us. This we do to, number one, make sure that, nothing for some reason got lost along the way. And this is also what we will be doing, how we'll be determining if someone didn't fill out the parish, as far as we have a place that people can write the parish to receive credit for whatever gift they make. If someone doesn't write that in there, this is the parish that will get credit for it, whoever sends in whatever parish is written on the transmittal form. So these are important, number one, for us to have a double check for what we should be receiving, the number of envelopes we're receiving, as well as your parish to get credit specifically for the gifts that are made. So something really important that we really do want to make sure that is in your envelopes, in your FedEx envelopes that you ship to us. Along with your shipping materials that you're going to be receiving, you'll also just get a couple different sheets of paper that'll contain, just FAQs, contact information for us. There's a couple different sheets with good information in there. So just take a quick peek at that when those do arrive in the mail, especially, specific questions, different things like that will be helpful kind of throughout this process. I do want to go over parish results. So we ask that, you promote this as a parish, and a lot of times pastors like to know where their parish is as far as reaching their goal and different things like that. If you have been here for a couple of years, you will know that we used to have all of these results on our diocesan hub. We did switch our database. The diocesan hub no longer kind of communicates with our database, so results are no longer available on there. Results, though, will be sent out in Monsignor Bartilla's Saturday email, which goes to all the pastors across the diocese, and that'll list what your parish pledge amount is, what your parish paid amount is, and what your goal is. And like I said, all pastors will get that. If you specifically need something, if you're not a pastor and you need something specifically for your parish, like you want to promote it in your bulletin or something like that, please let me know, and I can always send specific numbers for your parish as well. Contact information is there, and I'll have it on the screen at the end as well, just so you have that specific information. A couple ongoing ACA dates that I just want everyone to be aware of, just so you know that there will be a couple more things of communication with donors kind of along the way. Monthly reminders are always going to be sent out around the first of the month for those people who decided to make monthly pledges. In May and August, we will send additional mailings. We call them our phase 2 and our phase 3. Just trying to hit those people who've given to the appeal before, but have not made a gift for the 2022 ACA. And then in January of 2023, tax statements will go out for everyone that did not make a one-time gift. So just in case you get this question in your parish, you can always send it along to us. But if you get a specific question in your parish regarding tax statements, anybody who makes a one-time gift, so if they fill out their envelope, they make a $100 gift and they write a $100 check, with that, they're going to get their tax information in their thank you letter from us. It'll all be taken care of there. If they make a monthly gift and have, they make that $100 gift and they make 5 payments of $20, they'll get a tax statement in January of 2023 listing all of those out. So one-time gift, they'll get it with their thank you letter. And then if they make a monthly gift, they'll get all of their all of their tax information the following January. Just in case you guys get questions on that, we get questions a lot. And just so you are aware with how that kind of works. Finally, I do just want to very quickly go over where everything is located on our website in case there are questions that come up, where you can kind of get your bulletin information, bulletin announcements, bulletin cover. Everything is going to be available at madisondiocese.org/appeal materials. So if you go there, this is going to list everything here. So we've got all of our dates in case you have questions on those. If for some reason, after this year's appeal, questions come up as far as future ACA dates, I've got a calendar for those for planning purposes. All of our bulletin announcements, starting with the January 29th and 30th weekend, are located here for each week. And then following down here, we've got our bulletin covers and materials. So the bulletin artwork, we've got in English, vertical, horizontal, we've got a Spanish version, and we've got a black and white version, depending on what works best for your bulletin. All of those are there. And again, we ask you to kind of highlight the bulletin artwork on announcement weekend. So whichever weekend you decide to do, announcement weekend is when we ask you to put that on your bulletin. I do just have the prayer card listed on here in the tabloid in case people would need that for some reason. I spoke about the in-pew scripts that pastors will use on commitment weekend and follow-up weekend. We've got the talking points, the full in-pew script, and the Spanish talking points, and then we have those for follow-up weekend as well. And then finally, additional ACA resources. That parish prep manual that I talked about is going to be located here. All of these are just links that will take you to where you need to go. The calendar, important dates of what need to happen, different quick reference sheets, and just a couple other things that are pertinent as far as linking, your parish to the ministries of the ACA. If you've got questions on shipping and what needs to happen with that. If for some reason you run out of transmittal forms, those will be in your shipping material packet. But if you run out of those, we've got that on there as well. Just a bunch of different information on this page. So madisondiocese.org/appeal materials is where all of this is going to be. I'll link this in most of my weekly emails that I send out to you as well. Just in case you don't remember that website, but that is where everything is kind of going to be located for as far as what is needed in parishes. Again, we went over that. I do want you guys to pay attention to weekly emails. The weekly emails, I want to go over really quickly where I get the information or where I get the email addresses for this. On our diocesan hub, there is for each parish kind of people assigned to each section. So I pull in anyone who is assigned as a bookkeeper, someone who's in charge of the bulletins, the pastors get pulled in, and then there is a specific section for the people who are kind of in charge of appeals as well. So all of those people I pull into my email list. If for some reason you're not getting these weekly emails, please check the hub as far as who is listed there. If you need information on that, I can help with that as well. But that's where I'm pulling that email list from. So you do need to have your name and email address on the diocesan hub in order to receive these weekly emails. Please pay attention to those emails. They're going to, like I said, have kind of everything laid out for you as far as what needs to happen for weeks leading up to the appeal, when to expect things to arrive, when to send things in. There's just some good information in there so things don't get missed and whatnot. And then finally, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to call anyone in our office. We're here to help. We understand and we appreciate that, this is a lot of work that we're throwing on you for this. So please don't hesitate to call if there's something that comes up or a question that we can help you with, or something is not making sense. Anyone in our office is able to help, but please, feel free to give us a call or email us with specific questions on that. And then finally, I just want to make sure that you guys have my contact information if things come up kind of throughout the appeal. Again, questions, comments, concerns, something doesn't make sense, please feel free to call me or shoot me an email or reply to weekly emails that I'm sending out kind of throughout the session as well. I will leave this up for a little bit. Again, if something didn't make sense in this training or you have something specific that you wanted to ask me, I know this was a little bit different from the past years where we kind of had live sessions that we were able to do this, but this was just, I think, an easier way so people can kind of watch this at their own pace and kind of do their own thing with it. But if there are questions that are not making sense, please don't hesitate to give me a call or shoot me an email. Again, thank you for attending the training, watching through this, and thank you for all of your help with the appeal. I will leave this screen up for just a minute here so you can have time to write down my information, or like I said, you'll have all that information when I'm sending out emails as well. So thank you again and have a good rest of your day.